All right, so I've been trying to get some fishing content and it just has not gone well at all. It's been a pretty slow spring for trout for me, to be honest. And every time I've caught a fish, I haven't had the camera with me. So I'm not gonna make you all watch a 20-minute video of me getting skunked and going home. So we're gonna hike one of the most scenic mountains in the Adirondacks today instead. So it's currently mud season, late April. It got really hot here earlier in the month, like mid 80s where I live, which is like almost unheard of. And then it cooled down and now we're sitting in like the low 60s where I am right now for highs today. It's about mid 50s right now. So I'm trying to keep off of the high elevation stuff. You really want to do that because of these delicate trails. You can really ruin them, a lot of the delicate alpine vegetation. So the summit of this is only about 2,400, so we'll be good here, but it's a really, really nice open ridge hike. I hiked this once before, haven't done it since, and have been meaning to come back because it's just such a gorgeous trail. What's really neat here is you can make the argument of like a seasonal lag pretty much for spring, and then fall and winter come really early. Even where I am, not that far from here, like an hour, there's quite a bit more bloom on the trees. And you come up here and there's not much of anything in terms of greenery yet, even down at the base of the mountain. So that's always pretty neat. So yeah, more about that whole seasonal lag I was basically saying. So I really think James Appleton in the 46 of 46 podcast says it best. Number one, just because it's spring where you live doesn't mean it's going to be where the Adirondacks are. And number two, the mountains don't care about you. So you just got to remember that. This isn't a particularly difficult hike, but you still have to know what you're doing and take proper precautions. But yeah, that snow and ice stuff can always be a rude surprise. I remember when I was newer to hiking, I was attempting Armstrong, one of the high peaks, and in June I had to turn around because the ice was so bad. So you just gotta always take that into account. I basically always keep a pair of spikes in my backpack, except for maybe midsummer probably. All right, if I remember correctly, we're getting towards the ridge now. Definitely a change up in the type of forest here, a lot more evergreens. There were a lot more birch right back there. Oh, there's a couple there. And what I just forgot to mention is since we're getting in here on a blue sky day, right before all the buds come out, the views here should be absolutely spectacular. I mean, this mountain almost always has spectacular views, but this should be even better. The thing that sucks is I forgot to put on sunscreen like a scrub, which depending on the hike you're going on might not be the worst thing, but considering that this is an open ridge hike on a blue sky day, we're gonna hope we don't burn here. So oh well. By the time I realized I was pretty decently into the hike here. So let's go to overlook number one here. Can just make out some early blooms on a couple trees up there. I have no idea what geographic feature that is over there, but still gorgeous nonetheless. This is a nice flat section here too to catch your breath. I was really new to a lot of the snowshoe, that kind of stuff over the last winter, so I didn't really do all that much. And so I'd been going to the gym like quite a bit, lifting weights and all that, but that's really not the same. So, oh well, we always get ourselves back into it. This trail immediately hits you with some elevation. Nothing too terrible though. This is not a terribly hard hike. When I first did this trail, I was newer to hiking and didn't really have any issues. It's about 5.5 miles and like 1,350 feet elevation gain, so not terrible, especially by Adirondack standards. And we're in another forest change here. It's really neat. That's one thing I always love with the Adirondacks is a lot of these trails you just go through just so many different little biomes, I think it's called. It's been so long since I was in grade school when we learned this. Sorry to any of my teachers watching that. Making our way downhill a little bit now. It's amazing, actually. I said I've only done this trail once, but this is all kind of starting to come back to me. I'm pretty familiar with the town that you drive through to get here. I've driven through it a couple of times for various reasons, but again, I've only hiked this trail once, and it's all starting to come back. I think it's just because, again, it's such a gorgeous hike. It's so memorable, and I think it was like my first summer living here, so that's always kind of like the magical, I'm out of my hometown, I have my career, first summer kind of thing, so you remember a lot of it, I guess. Looks like the trail's blocked off. Time to go home. Really advanced hiking tactic right there. I am the most hardcore outdoorsman in New York State. This might be the oldest birch I've ever seen. Doesn't look all that healthy. Definitely looks like some termite rot at the bottom, but dang. I don't really know. You guys make a comment if they typically do this. I've never really seen where it sprouts like 4 trunks like that. It's weird. Okay, we're reaching some standing water. Now, one more educational thing that I can incorporate into this. If you haven't seen any of my other hiking things, actually, I'm not sure if I talked about this in any of my videos, but yeah, if you see standing water or any mud, basically, as best able and as best reasonably possible, go through it. Because if you go around it, all you're going to do is contribute to trail erosion, making the problem worse. You know, there's some times that, okay, I guess you can justify going around, but I almost always try to go through it. It kind of sucks, but, you know, again, you're hiking. You're not out to keep clean, pristine footwear. If you are, then honestly, you're doing the wrong activity. I remember this little stream. Maybe I should have brought the fly rod and caught a 20-inch brown out of here on a dry fly to make this video completely epic. Just kidding, obviously there's not going to be anything like that in here, but still a pretty sight to see nonetheless. Again, a little bit of mud. Never hurt anybody. Go through it. Well, I guess quicksand hurt somebody at one point, but I believe that's different. I'm not a geologist. Oh, actually, no, that is certainly different. Okay, ignore my ramblings. Okay, having crossed that little stream, I believe we are on the ascent of the actual peak now. I do think that's a col that we went across. Technically speaking, it should be, I think. You know, I'm not a complete geography expert though, but that's what I'm going with for now. Massive boulders here. That's pretty sweet. Again, mud. Just gonna go through it. This is also gonna be a mosquito factory. That'll be fun. The nymphs basically hatch in standing water like that near a stream like this, and that's where those things come from. Let's see here. I actually don't think this is that deep. No, it's not. Looks a lot worse than it is. Okay, that was a little deep. Oh well. They're hiking boots. They're not meant to be kept pristine. So I'm kind of mad. I wanted to track this on all trails, and I ended up like forgetting to resume. I don't even remember pausing it. It must have been when I opened the quick app for the GoPro that it screwed my all trails recording up, but oh well. I don't actually need all trails for this. And really, you shouldn't solely rely on just an app. It's a great supplemental thing to have. I love having it. But definitely want to make sure, you know, you have a map and all that too. Starting to change landscape again. After saying it about, I don't know, 3 times and being completely wrong, I think I'm approaching the ridge now. I could look at the map, but I like the surprise. If I remember this correctly, we are approaching it. This is so cool. Yeah, I was looking at this from the trail and was like, we go up this, right? And then I was like, oh, I guess we don't. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, we do. So there you go. Thanks for coming to my description of my brain. Here we go. Here's part of the ridge. I believe that's gore right over there, I want to say. Can still see the ski trails. That snow's going to stay there for a while. Got all the lichen over there. This really is, in my opinion, one of the most scenic hikes in the southeast Adirondacks, especially for the effort. Just so much bang for the buck, or I guess bang for the step. Oh yeah, I remember this. It's like rock that looks like a spine. Pretty impossible to lose the hiking trail right here. Oh boy, this is a good sobriety test too, actually. If you fall down, you get an HUI, hiking under the influence. I'm sorry, these jokes are just getting progressively worse as this hike goes on. We go back down a little bit here. Back into pretty much the same landscape that was at the beginning of the hike, only at a significantly higher elevation. There's gore. Almost certain it is. Back on open ridges. And again, because of the lack of leaves right now, definitely an enhanced view. So that's super nice. I believe right up there is the summit. Oh yeah, I remember this. End of this is iconic. Another mountain that's pretty similar to this one is J. It's much larger and it's more difficult. It's not a high peak, but it's in that region of the park. And that one's really cool because there's an overlook and you can see the entire city of Burlington over Lake Champlain. It's pretty sick. But yeah, this was my first exposure to open ridge hiking and I became hooked. This also reminds me of the Algonquin Iroquois area too. This I can also say is probably one of those spots in hiking where you can get a little bit discouraged, but seeing that and basically being like, oh crap, I still have to go all the way up that, but honestly it's not as bad as it looks. I can tell you that from experience. Alright, we're on the final push now. Some of those areas back there, I didn't even have anything to say. So pretty, I was just going to shut up and let the trail do the talking, you know? Could not ask for better weather today, and a hike to get back into shape. All right, I think we're getting towards the final ridge here. Ooh, those roots were a little more uneven than I was expecting. No worries. Didn't trip or fall. Which one is a trail? Oh, they actually both lead to the same spot, I think. I think this is it. This looks like a summit. There it is. There's the United States Geological Survey marker from 1942. Well, thanks for coming along. Hope you enjoyed this hike as much as I did. Definitely, if you're coming to the Southeast Adirondacks, highly recommend this trail. Very, very gorgeous. The parking lot is a little small, so it might fill up on weekends, but I've seen people park along the road without issue before. So thankfully, I'm here on a weekday, and it hasn't hit May yet, so there's not as many people in the area yet. And you know, that really played to the advantage here. Got to see a bit more views than you normally would. So absolutely fantastic. Could not ask for any better, honestly. So if you like what you see, please hit subscribe, please hit the like button, leave a comment. I'll be back as soon as I can with more hiking stuff, and definitely want to get you some quality fishing stuff. Hopefully I can have a little more luck. All right, take care.